During World War II, nations built tanks, bombs, and radar, but one of the most effective secret weapons wasn't mechanical at all. It was actually just a bird. Pigeons, yes, ordinary homing pigeons, saved thousands of lives, carried messages that could not be jammed, and even inspired one of the strangest missile guidance systems ever built. Here's how pigeons helped to win World War II. Humans have relied on pigeons for over 2,000 years. The ancient Persians used them for long-distance messaging. Julius Caesar employed them during his campaigns, and by the early 1900s, they were a staple of military communications. Homing pigeons can return to their home lofts from hundreds of miles away. Scientists think that they use a mix of cues: the Earth's magnetic field, the sun's position, smells, and landmarks, though the exact mechanism is still debated. During World War II, when radios could be intercepted or jammed and telegraph lines were destroyed, these birds offered something the best technology couldn't: a message delivery system that couldn't be hacked. In 1939, Britain created the National Pigeon Service, the NPS, which registered around 200,000 pigeons from civilian breeders. Each bird carried a tiny aluminium canister on its leg, holding a coded note written on special lightweight paper. The birds were used by the Army, Navy, Air Force, and even intelligence services, which coordinated pigeon operations. Some aircraft carried pigeons in case their radios failed, and command posts relied on them when other systems went down. Success rates varied, but British reports claimed that roughly 9 out of 10 birds returned home safely, a remarkable achievement in war. At Dunkirk in 1940, Allied soldiers trapped on the beaches released pigeons carrying desperate updates. Some reached Britain and helped coordinate rescue operations for the 338,000 troops evacuated in Operation Dynamo. Later, pigeons were used across occupied Europe, especially during D-Day and in resistance operations, when radio silence was essential. One bird, Winky, became famous in 1942 after helping save the crew of an RAF bomber that had ditched into the North Sea. When the aircraft crashed, Winky was released and flew over 120 miles back to her loft in Scotland. She carried no message, the container had come off, but rescuers used her arrival time and condition to estimate where the plane went down. The crew was alive. Winky later received the Dickin Medal, the animal equivalent of the Victoria Cross. The British even dropped pigeons by parachute into occupied France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Inside special containers marked important war information, locals could fill out message forms, attach them to the bird, and then release it. These missions were part of Operation Columba, which launched around 16,000 pigeons into Europe. About 1 in 10 returned with information, maps, troop movements, even sketches of V-weapon sites. The risks were huge. Germans captured or killed many birds, and some trained falcons to intercept them. Hundreds of pigeons were decorated for bravery. Amongst them, G.I. Joe, an American pigeon serving with British forces in Italy in 1943, delivered a message that stopped a scheduled bombing raid after Allied troops captured a village earlier than planned, reportedly saving around 100 lives. William of Orange carried a vital message from Arnhem during Operation Market Garden, saving around 2,000 soldiers. Mary of Exeter survived attacks by hawks and shrapnel during the Blitz, continuing to deliver messages despite multiple injuries. All received the Dickin Medal for bravery in the field. Across the Atlantic, psychologist B.F. Skinner proposed one of history's strangest wartime inventions, Project Pigeon, later renamed Project Orcon, for organic control. Skinner trained pigeons to peck at a target image projected into a missile's nose cone. When the bird pecked off centre, the missile's control surfaces would correct its course. It worked in lab tests, but the US military found the idea too eccentric and cancelled the project in 1944. No pigeons were ever deployed, but the experiment proved how desperate and creative wartime science could get. By 1945, advances in radio and radar made pigeons less vital. Still, they carried hundreds of thousands of messages throughout the war, often under enemy fire, fog and flak. After victory, the NPS retired its birds, and some received commemorations or quiet burials at home lofts. The legacy of the war pigeon remains in museums like the Imperial War Museum in Duxford and the Royal Pigeon Racing Association archives. In an age of fragile electronics, pigeons offered something no machine could match: a natural GPS that couldn't be jammed. Their combination of biology, instinct, and sheer reliability made them the unsung couriers of the 20th century's biggest conflict. And in the chaos of war, these small, silent flyers carried more than messages. They carried hope. Pigeons were not just background players in World War II, they were part of a global communications network that bridged the gap between nature and technology. Their reliability, speed, and bravery made them one of the most unexpected heroes of modern warfare. Thanks for watching. If you've learned something new, click subscribe.